Predator, Killer of Killers. It's a film, an animated film, that flew under my radar for quite some time, pretty much until it was announced, until I saw it on Hulu. But then I saw the reviews online. I saw people on YouTube really singing the praises of this animated film. And I decided to give it a watch. First, because, you know, I love anything that has to do with Predator. Second, because I'm a big fan of Prey, the 2022 film that was directed by the same director who is directing this animated film, Dan Trachtenberg. And in some way, it's a preparation to his upcoming Predator film, Badlands, that is, of course, is going to be released in November of this year. So a lot of people are anticipating this film. Of course, Trachtenberg did fantastic with Prey. I think he returned the franchise to form. And he gave us, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, Predator film that has been produced so far, even better than the original. I love this film because it understands what the Predator fans want. It understands that Predator fans really care more about the action, about those set pieces, with the sci-fi elements, and it goes deep in it. And I'm telling you, this is definitely for adults. It's mature. It is gory. There's no slow moments. There's not about feelings or emotion. It's about the killing. And yeah, it does have a few messages, and I understand some of the characters, but it doesn't delve deep into it, because in the end, the Predators are all about the killing, all about the hunting. They're hunters looking for worthy opponents throughout the galaxy, throughout the universe. Now, this was promoted as an anthology, and as that, it's divided into different chapters. Now, it's not as you saw with Star Wars Vision, where there's separate stories not linked to each other. These are chapters, but they are all linked to each other. They're all produced by the same studio, the third floor. They're the ones in charge of the animation here. And I'm telling you, the animation is fantastic. Although, I will tell you one thing, that perhaps at the beginning, you find yourself not necessarily keen of the animation, because it does have this kind of like weird stutter effect that normally is more visible in the slow moments. And at first you feel like, okay, I'm not necessarily crazy about the stuttering, that it kind of happens, but it only happens with the character models. It doesn't happen with the scene itself. It's more about the character models. It's kind of going like a 24 frames per second. I think that is the intention, to make it very slow-mo for cinematic effect. But it really shines when it comes about the action. When things become faster, then you realize the choice they make, because it makes things more cinematic, more gruesome. It has a stronger effect when you're watching it, particularly in a big screen. You know, if you have a big screen at home, you can see the effects, and it looks really neat. The first chapter is called The Shield. It's the story of this Norse woman in the 800s AD. This Viking woman who is in search of revenge. She's bringing her son with her and other followers, other people, part of her tribe. And they go into this quest, which is gruesome, by the way. And she used these shields as weapons, and she's just a killer machine. She's fantastic. Very worthy way to introduce the story, because what you're going to see in the action here is pretty much going to set the tone for everything in the film. It's just gruesome. If you cannot stomach that in an animated film, or any film at all, then definitely this is not for you. But it is fantastic. The second chapter is called The Sword, and this happened in the 1600 in feudal Japan. And this warlord has two sons. He puts them on a fight with each other, technically to kill each other. And one of the brothers decided not to kill his other brother. The other one wants to impress his dad, so ultimately he hurts even in the face, leaves a scar in the face of the other brother. The brother that got hurt simply walks away. And 20 years later, that person, that warlord, dies. The father dies, and of course now he returns for revenge. He's been holding this grudge forever. This is the one that is the most quiet. It's silent, because there's not much conversation or talk. Everything is spoken in the natural language. So the Vikings speaking in a Scandinavian language, and of course here in Japan they talk in Japanese, which is always, I think it really adds to how natural it feels. Something that we saw with Prey, using the natural language instead of the translation in English. It's just great. I like the way they did it there. And I love this one. I love the scene, you know, the samurai fights, the ninja fights, all of that happened in this particular chapter. I really enjoy. And now there's the third chapter, which is called The Bullet. And this happens in 1941. It starts in 1941 in Florida in the US. And this kid, Hispanic kid, who wants to be a pilot, and ultimately he gets that when he's drafted to World War 2. This is the thing what I really like about the film is how it goes to different stages, and not all are the same. There's different setups, different predators, different battles. This is a type of film that you come just to sit down, to have a fun time, just to, just watch mindless violence perhaps, but it works, and it works so well. And not only that, it sets the foundation for things to come with Badlands, but also opportunities for other films, maybe Prey 2, even a continuation of this animated series into a second part. Of course, this, as far as I know, I just went to the rabbit hole really to find out more about this film and the plans. This was a surprise thing that happened. It was kept in secret until recently, and just to kind of set the foundation for things to come. I think they're going in the right direction. 20th Century Fox is going in the right direction with this. All of the things that are coming together, to me, it's the way you open the door for this franchise to flourish. I think at some point, the Predator franchise felt like it was dying out. It did so well when it was introduced in the 80s, and it did so well in the 90s, but then, of course, kind of felt like in the 2000s with a lot of different things, with different sequels and prequels and things that happened, crossovers also with Alien. It took away a lot of things that, that we saw initially. And I feel that now with Prey and with Killer of Killers, I feel that we are going back to the beginning, but also setting a better foundation for better things to come. And that is something that is surprising to see. I would say Dan Trachtenberg has done a fantastic job once again, understanding this franchise and understanding what people really care about or want about this. Now, does that mean that it's perfect? No, of course, you can complain about the animation. We can complain also that maybe we didn't feel like as connected with some of the characters. Yeah, they're likable, but not necessarily you feel like emotional connection. And some people may not like that. They may see that as a repetition of things. Some people may even point out that there are a lot of things, a lot of elements that the director and the writers have borrowed from some other franchise in different scenes, in different moods, in different aspects. And there are a lot of elements that are unbelievable. Like, for example, these guys in the end coming together, things that how can you explain it? There are things that are not easily to explain, or honestly, you shouldn't explain, or you shouldn't find, or really kind of break your head trying to find explanation, but they are there. But I think once you pass all of those things that you can complain and nitpick, I think it's an enjoyable ride. It's an animated film that, yes, it falls in the category, an animated film that is not for children, and definitely for the more mature people because of the gory elements, the language at times, but most importantly, that goriness, the extreme violence. That's something that you might compare this to the most recent Mortal Kombat animated films. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. But if you are a fan of the Predator series, the Predator franchise, you are going to feel right at home, and you're going to enjoy it very, very much. Now, is it better than Prey? I don't think so, because it is an animated film, but it really does a lot of the things. It borrows a lot from that. It does it heavily, but it does it in the right way, the right tone. And yes, it set, again, the foundation. It builds that foundation that is going to work. In my opinion, it's going to work for things to come. So yeah, I'm looking forward if they come up with a second part of this series, because it left things open. Things happen there that they were not completely finished, but also it kind of opens the door to explain a lot of the things that happened in the past, and it does it right. So if I have to give this film a final score, in my book, it's an 8.5 out of 10. It could be a 9, but 8.5 out of 10, I think, for what it has, it does it the right way. It has the right tone. It has the right weight. It does things right. It's not as good, again, as Prey, but it's very, very, very good. And I highly recommend it. If you watch it on Hulu. It's, you're going to have a good time with it. But what is your opinion, my friends? What do you think about this film? Did you watch it? Did you get the opportunity to do so? Are you still waiting on it? Are you on the sidelines? You were not a fan of Prey, so I don't know. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. So once again, my friends, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. Hit the notification button to remind you of the next video. Follow me on social media, on Facebook, on X, on Instagram. And also consider supporting the channel financially through Patreon. My friends, God bless. Take care. I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.